Happy Sunday to everybody. Let's tune in today. We're going to have a live motivational, elevating episode here at Motivational Sh podcast. Let's get it. Hey, I'm here with High Heels. She has returned to give further guidance. She has returned. Definitely. She has returned from the motherland. Here to present the high vibrations. Yes. And I also got my man Dylan, the man with the plan, the man behind the Mail Review.
Oh, yeah.
That's here to bring a man's perspective and his perspective.
Going by Mr. Everything 2023. In case y'all don't know. Mr. Everything.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I expect a whole size chicken with extra cheese. So, you know
Atlanta, if y'all ain't from Atlanta, y'all don't get it.
I know,
I was like, should I take that? Should I take that? But hey, I'm taking it. I'm taking it. Hey, I can do that as well. Yeah,
I'm from Atlanta and I didn't get it. Is it because I don't eat chicken?
Yeah, the Mrs. Everything spot. Yeah. There's a Mrs. Everything spot.
No, I don't know this.
And there's a Mr. Everything spot too. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, see, look, you know what people always
you gotta go down. Let's go down Riverdale real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The Mrs. Everything little chicken spot. Might have to pay a little bit because they ain't playing with their prices over there these days.
Well, it's okay. I don't eat chicken anyway.
Oh, I eat the hell out of some chicken. Okay.
But they got a salmon Philly.
Yeah. See, they might have me for that.
They have a whole size. They have a whole size salmon Philly. I either get the salmon or the chicken, but either way, both of them are busting.
Yeah. People be joking because they're like, "You ain't from Atlanta. You ain't from Atlanta." Like, no, I'm from Atlanta. It's just I'm not this new Atlanta.
Yeah,
okay,
you ain't
I'm the Stewart Ave, not metropolitan Atlanta. Okay, like I'm the Ashby Street, not the Joseph E. Lowry Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So that's the Atlanta I am. All this new stuff, I don't know all about that.
Yeah, definitely. Yo, I want to say shouts out to Huey G, shouts out to Super Healer, right? And on today's episode, y'all, I wanted to talk to we all three beings that I have on here, Dylan, Yale, and High Heels, and me included. We all went to a terrific event that was about the community, that was about the kids. But before we get into that, I want to chime in to High Heels. She says she started her Sunday with Grand Rising from the word of the Honorable Minister Farrakhan.
Yes. Okay, well, you just done put me on the spot.
Oh, yeah.
Well, today, what I chose to listen to is a lecture by the Mr. Farrakhan. It's called The Mind of God. There's a part of his lessons, and it's the study guide, the self-improvement study guide for community development. And there is a part of that where it's about rising from emotions to the thinking of God. And so there's a whole lecture called The Mind of God. And, I was reflecting on the subject matter that we're going to talk about today. And a lot of it was very applicable to what we were talking about with these kids at the event. Just even with your intentions on what you're doing, but it is about rising to the thinking of God, rising above emotions. We move in so many emotions. And I feel like one of the keys to rising to the thinking of God is to think logically. With a lot of the violence, I don't want to skip and just start talking about the event or anything like that, so I'm going to try to keep it as a preface. Okay. But one thing that I want us to start to embody as a people, and this is kind of going with something I posted the other day about my name, we have to start remembering the God in us. We have to realize the God in us so that once we rise to the thinking of God, a lot of the problems that we have as people would not exist. Because even when we talk about violence, usually people are retaliating out of emotions. They're not retaliating out of thought. People are reacting out of emotions. People are dressing out of emotions because you're dressing because you want to feel a certain way. You want a certain type of attention to make you feel good. You have to get out of the feelings and the emotions. You have to rise to the thinking of God. God had emotions, but he had practical emotions. He watched his son die. He put his son through that. And any person with emotions, you're like, oh my God, don't do this to my son. Jesus went through those moments. Jesus did have moments where he did cry. Jesus had moments where he asked, why has thou forsaken me? God didn't stop what he was doing. He didn't say, oh my God, let me save my son. He let those processes happen, right? But in the end, he did show his son, like, no, I brought you back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're good. But it's that rising to those emotions that God has. Because if Jesus did not go through that, and if you're a Christian, this is your belief, if Jesus didn't go through that, then he would not have been your savior, right? You wouldn't. They wouldn't have that story of his salvation. Because if God would have just stopped as they were beating him, or stopped when they were walking him up the hill, then none of that would have occurred, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So it's rising to the thinking of God. That's the aim, and that is the aim of when you are a member of the Nation of Islam, because you're that submittance to God, right? But I feel like a lot of the things that we were hearing about when the kids were talking about why they have guns, when we look at the violence, even when I think, I'm going to say his name wrong. What is it? Tyree Nichols?
Yes.
A lot of these issues that we see is because we lack that rise into the thinking of God, not just the thinking of God, but also the understanding that we have God within us, and looking at each other as other gods that are roaming around,
I think, let me, not to cut you off,
go ahead.
but because I want to catch you right there where the God is inside of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I totally believe in that as well. Like, there is a bit of, him and me. Mm-hmm. Some people may mistake that quote as if in saying that you think you are God. Mm-hmm. How do you clarify that to people who may not understand that separation of that understanding of that thinking?
Well, the thing is that you have to go back to what is God. As I am a student, I'm not going to talk like I know it
Mm-hmm.
all, but through my studies, what I am learning, and one of the first things that you learn is who is God. The people, the man, mm-hmm. humans have made God a mystery. They've created a mystical God that is such a question, a mystery, you don't know who God is. But one of the first things in the teachings is that you understand that God is a man, because God made him he made us in his image. So if we are made in God's image, then how is God not a man, right? Mm-hmm. So that is to be said that even when you talk about Jesus, if Jesus is the Son of God, we're made in the image of God, then Jesus would be our brother. So we would be like Jesus, correct?
Right.
So we're not saying, I am God, but I come from God. Mm-hmm. I am your child.
I am God-like.
I am God-like. If you look at my dad and you look at my mom, I am like a perfect mm-hmm. mixture of both of them. You can look at me and tell I came from my mom and my daddy.
Okay.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's that idea that, no, we're not God. But if you are the child of God, then you are of God.
Yeah,
y'all are the same DNA, the same. So, no, we're not saying we are God, but
I know I can at least turn water into wine. I could just give me some ice and pour a little bit of never mind.
Well, you can't. Hey, but look, you can make some wine. You can get you a little bit of water. Look, you can get some water. You can get you some grapes. You can get you some sugar.
You know what I'm saying? Throw a little bit of razzle, a little bit of dazzle in that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Have you heard of Pruno, right? You can turn water into wine now. You have heard of Pruno.
Well, I know now.
You heard of Pruno?
No, I know now. I'll be getting some today.
So Pruno,
I'll be getting some today.
Just a little glimpse. Pruno is like
it's the God in me, baby.
Pruno, it's the jailhouse wine. So you use water and you put that with any fruits that you have, sugar. You can put a little bit of ketchup for the acidicism, and then you let that sit and it ferments. And after it has fermented for about a week or so, you got alcohol. So
look at God.
You can turn water into wine.
Look at God. Look at God.
I did not know that. Yo, oh man. Yo.
That's what wine is.
Wow.
Hey, the things you learn from jailhouse people, man.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's rather godly.
Who do you turn to when you in jail? God. Hey,
God.
hey, yeah.
Hey,
So-
yeah.
Nah, man, but yeah, that's very insightful. I honestly do listen to a lot of Farrakhan's words. I've been to a mosque or two, and very insightful of the structure behind, when you have a Muslim-based belief,
Exactly.
and I like it, to be honest with you. I'm just not ready to commit to any religion. I believe in God, and I leave it at that because I ain't gonna follow the rules. I ain't gonna lie about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Absolutely.
but the structure, I love to see the structure of that community. I dated a woman years ago that was Muslim, and she was so family based and home based that compared to what we see as far as what today's views of society has transitioned into what's real or what's allowed.
Yeah.
And you're a mother, so how do you keep your family, your children away from, hey, you could do this, you could be this, believe in this. If they say you can't be that, that's wrong. How do you kind of like keep your family in that following you?
It's interesting. That is actually part of my battle at this time because my ex-husband is not a Muslim, not trying to be a Muslim, don't want to be a Muslim. And when I start to go through my awakening, I'll say my activation, when I wanted to implement more meditation, even the other day, we were grocery shopping. I was grocery shopping for the kids with him, and he put some bacon in there, and I was like,
That's
I was just kind of like, can we ease off the pork for the kids because they haven't been eating pork anyway.
That's what separated me and the old girl relationship. I was gonna eat me some sausages, okay?
And he was all like, look, the minister don't live in my house. I said, well, but the thing is, my children watch me.
Yeah.
And since I've activated and really lived my lifestyle, since 2016, they've watched me meditate. They've watched me sage. So my kids, they emulate you. Just as they emulate the negative, they emulate the positive. So
Definitely.
it's not, certain things aren't hard to implement with my kids because they've been raised a certain type of way.
Right.
Other things, like my 20-year-old, no, he not about everything. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is that he can see what I'm saying in real time.
Right.
Where I tell him like, bruh, he started smoking weed. Okay, yeah. So I found out he smoked weed. But I'm like, all right, so if you smoke weed, just don't be riding around in the car smoking weed. That's not intelligent. Do things intelligently because that is part of the teachings is that you want to be intelligent in what you do. I can't tell him not to do it, but at least whatever you do, be intelligent. And that can kind of help you get out of trouble a little bit. Don't go buying weed from people. You dig what I'm saying? Because you don't know. Don't go to a parking lot at a grocery store waiting for some weed. You're going to get locked up.
Right.
You dig? So I'm like, you better off being the person that come to someone's house and put in on it. Which I don't know if this is probably the best thing. You're probably like, what?
Teach us.
Right?
Teach us this oracle.
But the reason why I'm saying this is because I know where he's at. And I know he's 20 years old. He's not going to completely align to what I want him to do, but start to think. And the more that he starts thinking this way, he's starting to realize, dang, there's risk in what I'm doing.
Right.
That's what I'm implanting in his mind. You're understanding the risk that you're taking. So maybe eventually you're going to be like, is the risk worth it? You know what I'm saying? So
My son actually bought a medical marijuana card. And what could I say? Like, where did you get?
Look.
I told him. Did tell him be wise.
Well,
Boy, this boy's smart. I did not know he was that ready.
at least he thought about it and he got the medicinal. I'm sitting here advertising. My bad. Let me turn this around. At least he got the medicinal. We do want to make sure that we are pay attention to where it's coming from. I talked about. I was letting him know about Dr. Wesley Muhammad, who does talk about the GMO. Weed, and I was educating him, and also I was trying to steer him to a different direction too. I deal with Delta 8 a lot and CBD, and I'm like, you could also tap into this Delta 8. It's legal, and it is the medicinal effect of marijuana. You don't want to just get high. You want it to benefit you. What is this over here? Is this Delta 8 wine?
This is nomadic wine, Delta 8 based wine.
Oh my God, I want to start making
it's been sitting here since you've been here last time because this is our promotional product, and you didn't even. I think we did talk about it.
Let me see.
We did talk about it. Yeah.
See, Moscato Red. Yeah. Delta 8. Now, guys, okay, well, if we want to promo, let's promo for real.
Let's do a promo for real.
Delta 8 is amazing because you're not getting this like head high. It's a body effect.
It is.
And it's tapping into like what your like actual neuroreceptors and the cannabinoid like receptors. So instead of you just having like this high effect or being drunk, you feel good in your body. You know what I'm saying? And you can drive. And you're not going to have a hangover. I'm telling you, Delta 8 is, I feel like, a better wave than just going with the alcohol. You're not going to have that same, like, addictive behavior. Yeah. And you don't have all them spirits. Come on. Yeah. Let's get.
So you're gonna be our new advertising person for our nomadic wine. Shout out to Nomadic.
Shout out Nomadic. I might have to drink some of this.
Let's talk about it after the show.
Just to relax.
Yes. Thank you for the drop. I'm cutting that. I'm clipping that, y'all. Cause that was a great promo. I don't know what y'all talking about. Hey, look at God. Look at God. Look at God.
Look at God. Nomadic.
We might well title the show "Look at God."
New title.
High heels. Look at God.
Look at God. Hey, you might have something. Hello.
Yeah, you know, Mr. Everything. I be branding now. I'm on the fly.
Yeah, but thank you for letting me talk about the Honorable Mr. Farrakhan. These are all the teachings given to us by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, passed down from Master Farrakhan Muhammad. But all praise is due to Allah. It's been the most amazing experience for me. Hardest experience too, though, because they ain't just letting you in on honorable mention. Okay, they ain't just say, you know what, sister, you've been present. Let me just let you on in. No, you got to work, and they don't care who you are. They don't care who you know. They don't care about none of that because we are all in submission to God, and we are all students. So I could be Barack Obama himself coming in, and they still go say, you better write that Savior's letter the same way everybody else write that Savior's letter. Okay. So thank you for allowing me to speak on that.
No, definitely. I love hearing the word of Farrakhan. I remember one video I was watching where he was talking about how nutrient the earth is, and he was recommending you go to a private place outside in the grass and roll around in the grass naked. And I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, ground.
Grounding.
Yeah.
Just the benefits of me incorporating grounding last year really. One, I do feel like it had boosted my immune system, but it really helped a relaxation since we're talking about marijuana and kids are going to do marijuana, this and that, but we teaching them better ways to do it. I highly recommend, if you're a young person in your 20s and you do marijuana, first of all, make sure you're not abusing it. Make sure you set a limit on how much you're going to do a week. Okay. Also, too, make sure you're not overspending on it every week. I have seen that a lot, But also, 3, find a private place outside. Go outside. Take your shoes off. Ground. Smoke you some of it. But also, in between you smoking it, take breaks where you're taking deep inhales and blowing out. That's a method I use. And that's been working out like fine. Like, I mean, it's, doing the breathing and that, and that's been, it's just been a lot better.
Whoa. Can we at least lead with get you a medical marijuana card first?
Let's do it legally.
Like my son
Get you
did.
a medical marijuana card.
Start with, let's do it the legal way, because somebody gonna smoke some shit and say, well, Wayne told me.
He never said. These kids literal is.
Hey, I'm just saying, a lot of the kids are using it. They're doing it.
Yes.
We might as well teach them how to best do it without getting in any legal trouble or jeopardizing them. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna be on Mary Jane.
They love Mary Jane.
Yeah. At the end of the day.
So you smoke? Do you smoke? Does everybody?
I don't. I haven't smoked for years.
Yeah.
I would say the last time I probably smoked was, just hanging out with my partner. It was probably 2012. But I was never a big smoker even back then. Like that was, I drank my ass off though.
Oh, okay.
I'm a drink. I'm waiting to get done. I'm getting done with the show.
So do y'all think that that's like a problem with our kids?
Yes,
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
With the weed smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the kids, overuse it. I think I have seen this. Kids that's working jobs spending $200 every week on it, overspending it, over smoking it. Like, okay, I used to provide my services at a youth juvenile detention center, and some of the kids was in there because of overusing it. But a common thing, most of the kids who smoke, they was doing 10 blunts a day.
Wow.
10,
but
13,
do we know why?
I was just gonna ask, why do you think they needed to be high all day?
Because they wanted to escape reality. They wanted to escape reality. Some of them came from the same conditions that we have came from and risen ourselves from. Some of them, came from positions where they don't. One parent is not as active. Of course, poverty plays a part of it. Some of them, and also what they see in the media, some of them do want to get involved in the street life.
That's what I was about to take the stand. Shout out to Lil Will. He was saying, that's the excuse.
Yeah.
I hear you. Oh my God, I'm having such a hard time in life, and it's the cool thing to do. Is why they really doing it, because they idolize these hip hop artists. So, because think about it, look past the weed part. They're doing the same other things that they see these rappers do. They're getting the tattoos. They're dressing the same. So they're embodying the full image of another person. And the other embodiment of that person is, well, this person smokes, this person drinks, this person does drugs, this person does this. So I'm going to lead to that part first, because nobody told them that hip hop is an image and not the way you actually got to be.
You know what?
Yeah.
Hip hop now is an image, but that's not what hip hop was
No,
before.
No. It was entertainment. And they told us, because I grew up on Ice-T. I grew up on 2 Live Crew. I grew up on all this negative stuff. That the same thing we got today. But I was told, well, that's not how you need to be. That's entertainment. That's for fun. I never even liked that. I was more into Public Enemy. I was more into Black Sheep. You know what I'm saying? That type of music.
Yes.
So
Golden Age.
So somebody along the way stop telling kids to be like the image that's on TV. We could pick a decade, we could pick a year, but nobody's saying don't be this way, because they're looking at the parents who want to be that way too.
Something just clicked when you said it. I think I know what happened. When hip hop, I'll say early 2000s, hip hop became more mass media, and it started to get implemented in everything. Advertising, right?
Yes.
So now when you have it implemented into advertising, the key to advertising is that you want people to want that, right? So then it became something that people wanted to attain and wanted to emulate, because that's going to help people sell stuff. That's how the industry started anyway. The Jews who started the Hollywood, they were all retail people.
They don't like talking about the Jews.
I mean,
we can't let them know the truth. Man.
I mean, we gon'
whoever they are.
We gonna have to speak on it, because it is what it is. That the Jews who started Hollywood were all in retail. So that was how they were like, how do I get this to sell? Because before, the movie theaters wasn't getting a lot of action. It wasn't a lot of money in that. But once they started to implement their retail skills to Hollywood, then once they started to realize in the early 1900s, like 1910s and things, they were like, wait a minute, let's create a celebrity. Let's start to make these actors actually objects and things that people want to entertain and buy. So that's how you get people to come in. So now let's fast forward to hip hop being put into mainstream media. That's how you get to the point where instead of people looking at, Kumo D and just liking the music. Now we get to Snoop Dogg and they want to be Snoop Dogg because Snoop Dogg is in their McDonald's commercials, it's in the Adidas commercials.
Yes.
So now he has become a product to be. And now that's why we see these kids who are like, I need to be Future.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of just liking Future.
And not only that, they pull somebody that's from the same neighborhood that they can identify with the struggle. So yeah, I'm from Bankhead, I'm from Atlanta, I'm from wherever. So they figure that I understand what you're going through. That's why you need to listen to my music. And then they represent this area in the song or whatever. They represent the lifestyle. So now they want to identify with, and it could be used for positivity, but it's used as weapon. It's used as weaponry, and it's weaponized at this point to the point that it's so far gone that can you turn it back?
Yeah, I mean, because that all goes back to advertising. Because with advertising, they want you to feel bad about yourself. They want you to feel like my skin is so bad, I need this lotion for my skin. So it's not going to be a positive
I need to get
image.
Ass shots.
You dig? You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, look at Cardi B. I can see her booty all the way from the back row of the, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I need my booty like that. So, but they want you to feel bad. So the conscious music is not going to sell because you're feeling good. You're feeling too good. They got to keep you in a negative space because that keeps you buying. Because now I feel negative. I need to be that person. So now I'm gonna keep buying into it. But
what's your views on the sexualization of hip hop? Because this is what I recently saw. My guy on the Mail Review, Mark L. He showed me a picture yesterday, and I tend to think highly of Erykah Badu.
Oh,
you know where I'm going?
I know where you're going. Let's go.
And he showed me this picture of Erykah Badu with her daughter. And the picture of them, they both showing their ass. And I said, man, I can't look at that. Well, no, man, it ain't nothing. Yes, it is something. So he tried to compare that to, well, don't your wife take a picture with her daughter and they both showing their legs, they little tattoos on it. I say, Mark L., we are not about to compare a calf to a ass. Because people have fetishes. Somebody can like my long ass fingers, but I'm not showing my long ass. I could, but the reason that I'm just talking, I'm not saying whatever I could be doing. So we've gotten to the point that we're normalizing mothers and daughter figures, sexualizing themselves. Ma'am, to that you say.
Okay, so first and foremost, I absolutely love Erykah Badu, right? So anything I say, this is objective, and this is to answer a question. I will say on one end that it could be perceived that they're showing this is a natural butt, okay? Let's praise the natural body. But, oh God, I love her so much that you just really put me in a position.
I love her too. That's why I had to, because people that we idolize could disappoint us.
Yes, well, see,
or that we appreciate can disappoint us.
We see remnants of this is in the Willie Lynch indoctrination. In the Willie Lynch indoctrination, that's what they talk about, is about taking the man out of the home, leaving the woman, or pulling the man away, leaving the woman to have to be independent, right? And then you use the woman to influence the kids, the way that they influencing the daughters, the way they influencing the sons. They influence the sons to be emotional. They influence the sons to be weak. You influence the daughter to not really think about having a man in the house, but also this is a kind of a look of the influence of the daughter. Oh God, I really don't want to talk bad about Erykah Badu right now.
No. So, everybody could get these hands.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
See, Wayne invited the Mail Review to Motivational Shit, so you could blame Wayne.
I'm like, because I love Erykah Badu. Why did you do this? But okay, let me just take my personal feelings out of this, and I just have to be real.
There you go.
The thing is that now we see the sexualization reaching over the walls to consciousness. And this is part of what we see all the time in Atlanta. Yeah. That this consciousness, it's got to be a balance, right? And even though she wasn't twerking, it's still the same way that you look at Bernice Burgos when she got her daughter on there twerking and smacking her daughter butt. I guess we could look at it the same way. It's the influence. You are really putting me in position right here. Do you understand this? It's like every part of my soul is like you talking about Erica. Okay, but I mean, the thing is here, she probably did not think that deep into it when she posted it. She probably wasn't thinking that deep. It probably was like, look at these natural bodies. Look at my mama. I'm 50. I'm still here. But I'm not your sister. I'm your mother.
There we go.
As I was telling y'all before, my daughter wants to do a makeup tutorial. Yes. And yesterday when we were putting on the makeup and I was showing her, I said, but are you leaving the house like this? No. Is this the way that you really wear your makeup? No. Now, I said, I will show you how to really put on makeup because we don't want to put on makeup like a clown. We don't want to look like you want makeup to look like a compliment. So I'm your mother. I'm not about to do that with you. Like, I'm not your friend. And that's something that a lot of people, God, I can't remember her name right now, like Zaza or something like that. I can't remember her name, but she made a post about this too. And I commented because, you know, we do have that going on a lot where a lot of these grown women, like, why you trying to be these 20-year-old girls? I'm auntie. I'm proud to be auntie. Okay. I wouldn't have no picture with my daughter like that.
It's almost like me talking about my son smoking and I'm smoking weed with him. I'm perpetuating the influence of whatever he's following. I'm supposed to be the person like, okay, if you're going to do that, I would rather you not. But I'm not going to push this with you. So yes, because Mark L was saying, well, you know, she grown.
How old is she?
I don't know, 20. She's 20. If Erykah Badu's 50, she's 20. You know, so but me, I don't care because I see that as a child still. I'm 47.
Yeah, yes.
But you know, Mark L is a hoe. What can I say?
Well, but then again, I mean, if we're gonna
shout out to my calls, Mel Review. We call it what it is, how we see it. My homeboy, Mark L, old ass, is over sexualized.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's cool, but it's not.
Yes.
But it is what it is. Huh?
Well, I mean, I guess when we really do put things in perspective, I mean, she had. Oh God, let me stop because
no, go in by all means.
Lord, please don't repost this. I mean, she do have multiple baby daddies. Well, so there might be a natural sexualization. She is a Pisces, so there is a natural sexualization.
And she has turned out us Geminis.
But
she has taken the Gemini brothers and turned us out. Okay.
But she has been good about not personifying that in her music. Her music has remained high vibrational. So I feel like with her, I don't want to attack her too much for that. I feel like that's not attackable. I feel like because she's done more positive than negative. That's the only thing I've ever seen her post that pushed the envelope.
That's why I was like, what?
In her defense, I mean, the way that people have gone in on her, I think is not worthy or just due. Because for the most part, everything that Erykah Badu, she was the first person ever for me in any part of the industry that spoke on what I felt inside when I was 14 and 15. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, she was the only person that was like making me feel normal. Like, this is what I'm into. So in her defense, it might have been a misstep. But I think we're all allowed a misstep every once in a while. I don't think she embodies that over-sexualization the way that a lot of these other women do.
I don't think addressing it is attacking. Mm-hmm. We have to discuss some of these things to see where we are with it. You know, I mean, I do a lot of stuff wrong. So if somebody would say, hey, darling, you did this wrong, I could say, but it doesn't change the fact that I did it. Mm-hmm. Or that it's noticed by whoever sees it and how they perceive it. That's how you come to resolution of some things and talk about, maybe you said it, maybe she didn't realize how it would be viewed.
Right.
You know, but this is how you better yourself. Like, I didn't think about that.
Right.
I was just trying to have a fun moment with my daughter. That could have been it.
Yes.
But the second that darling gets on the screen and smoke weed with myself, I'm here with Debbie, goddamn.
Yeah.
It's just a goddamn fun moment, me and my boy. that shit back to me. You ain't even put in on this, Devin. But you my son.
Oh, Lord. Oh, God.
You know, on both of y'all tip is one element that I see in there, and that's what we have to do when it comes to these kids. And this element was also there at the event with the mayor and Young Dro. And this element is what I use when I'm addressing these young kids, these young mentors, is the realness. You have to first approach and be real, and then let them know that, hey, I'm seeing, because this is what I did, you know, when I was at the juvenile center to a lot of the kids, like, hey, you know, we're being real now, but don't you see how some of your actions have led to where you're at now? And don't you want you to self-reflect, look at some of the triggers, look at some of the elements, you know, look at some things in the environment that might have played. And I noticed a lot of the kids in the juvenile center, they did listen to a certain type of hip hop. They did listen to a certain type of that. And, you know, going back to what y'all was saying about the parents are, a lot of these parents, from my experience, some of them are active, some of them ain't as active in their kids' lives. And they're helping, that negligence is helping to allow these images to perpetuate into these kids' minds without anyone telling them that, hey, you know what? I know you see the guy, you know, I know you see the guy, he's going on the street selling drugs, snorting cocaine. I know you think that's cool, he's partying. But I actually have a guy who did that, who's 47, and now he has heart failure. He has a machine hooked up on his heart. He can't walk, he can't run, he can't have sex, he can't do any of the things you like to do now. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Someone to present that real image to them. And that's one thing I enjoyed, and I liked how we did in there. But I did disagree with one of the therapists. I believe his name was the original Mike. You know, I just disagreed with what the brother was saying, how the music, I don't know, quote unquote, what he said, but the way I perceived it, and this is just how I perceived it, was he was dismissing how music plays a part in it.
Right.
And I get that because, you know, Young Dro was there. You probably did not want to make Young Dro feel comfortable. You know, but priming is real. And these kids nowadays, they listen to the same song over and over again. And I'm going to say my case in point. Okay. Y'all, I remember when that song came out, I forgot the artist's name, but the song came out and it was called, well, no, it was basically about eating the booty hole.
Eating groceries. That was
what is this? Gotta eat the booty like groceries.
Yeah. Gotta eat the booty like groceries. Okay, now. So when that played, it normalized that behavior because I seen more people.
I think we've been doing that, bro.
Okay. Some people might have been doing it, but they was more out with it.
They were more talking about it. It became a thing to say. I know what you're talking about.
It became a thing. It became a thing. It kind of became a trend, and you know, more brothers might have tried that. Now, you know, I just test that because a lot of people have worms, and that body part is not made for that. But still, I'm just saying, we see the power of influence. Music made that change, right?
Right.
Did it?
Right. No, absolutely.
I'll just play it. Yeah.
No, I do know what you're talking about. Because there's so many examples of just like songs that suddenly made it a thing to say, like made phrases or sayings or actions. Yep. Yeah, it does. You know, I think it is though. It's about like, because I'm trying to remember who started talking about this. I think it was Dro. It was because he said like about his kids don't listen to his music.
That's what he said.
Yeah, and it's about having him. And I made this argument years ago when they had Mr. Porter come on Sesame Street, and I was like, you know, of course now my views are totally different, mainly because they overly saturated homosexuality with our children. It was really like to the point. But that was one of the first times that they were kind of showing someone homosexual on Sesame Street. And I was like, but it's about the hands. Like, you got to have a hand in your kid's life.
Yeah.
So music can be influential. Everything can be influential, but it's about the hand that you have on your kids. Like, can't nothing change my kids but me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm their influence. I am the person they look up to. Their father is the person they look up to. We are in our kids' lives. But I think what you're saying with sometimes a lot of these parents, the reason why music can influence them is because, one, the music probably influences the parents too much. And two, the parents don't have no hand in their kids' life. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like
true.
that when the guy kept asking, what was his name? Who was it that did the God, what was his name? He was pretty aggressive. He was pretty aggressive. He did the conflict resolution skit.
Yeah. He was
what was his name? I cannot remember his name, but he kept asking, like, what is this obsession with guns?
With guns,
You know, what are your kids' obsession with guns? And, you know, for me, he kept kind of coming at the kids, but I felt like it's not really 100% the kids need to come after. It be the parents.
It do be the parents.
You know what I'm saying? Because who was the educator who was saying that, you know, she will ride the bus to this apartment complex, and, you know, or even just with how the kids will come to school with videos of fights that had happened while they was at home on the weekend.
Right.
I'm like, it's these adults that you got to look out for. But in the concept, in the spirit of it takes a village, we have to still be compassionate and understand that some of these parents are overworked. Some of these parents might not even have the energy or time to be in their house like that. That's why it does take a village. But, you know, going back to what you're saying with, I guess it was Original Michael when he was, and not to say it was the music, I can understand what he means. Like, it's not 100% the music. It's also about the parents and the influences that they have. You know what I'm saying? Because my daddy, when I was growing up, I don't have a country accent, because as soon as I started to speak country, you know, they African. He was like, no, you do not speak like, you know, he was like, like, you pronounce the words. So, but I think that a lot of what we were hearing on, what day was that? Friday? What day was that?
Thursday.
Thursday.
My apologies. I don't ever know what day
we tired. We running. We run this lately.
There ain't no days off, so we don't know what day we are. I just look at the plan.
Just go.
Okay. But a lot of what I was hearing though, when these kids was talking, was about how they want to level the playing field, and it made me wonder, how many kids have guns?
All of them. Once again, shout out to Lil Will, who called it out. He the one that said that, hey, I hear y'all saying that this is for protection, but y'all are doing this for us cool. So it is a little bit of both to me, that they are punks. So the best way to combat that is, I don't got time to be embarrassed because they have not been taught the true principles of life. So now they want to, you know what, just do away with it. I'm going to go ahead and take care of this situation because I have not been taught how to handle a situation.
That is true.
So
I didn't.
do this and run from it, and I don't have to deal with that no more, because this guy, their assumption is going to keep coming. He's going to keep coming. She's going to keep coming. And that is how they think. They don't think that, because growing up in gangs, what happens in gang violence? It continues, and it's a non-stop circle of violence, and they figure, I'm just going to get rid of this person because it's never going to stop with this person. They're scared. They're scared, and that's just what it is.
So it reminds me, actually, was it Deion Sanders?
Yep.
Deion Sanders, he was talking about, was he talking about his quarterbacks, that he would prefer them to be people that had a 2-parent household because they would be able to take criticism well. And then, I feel like it was, I can't remember, don't quote me wrong, because I don't know football, so I can't remember if it was his quarterback, his defense line, but it was because he needed those types of players to be able to take criticism. But then the other kinds of players, he didn't mind those coming from single parent households because they didn't have to be able to take that criticism. But it's kind of going back to what you're saying, where it's like that embarrassment. That was part of that conflict resolution skit.
Yes.
Because
yes.
when they bumped into each, okay, let me, for people that weren't there was a conflict resolution skit where the proctor had the kids bump into each other, and he asked, what would be your reaction? What would be your reaction? You know, why is it a problem if that happened? Why can't you just back down off of that? But it'd be how people look at you. Well, then people gonna think I'm lame. You know?
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Embarrassment of
Yeah.
appearance. Tyrone Roberts on the stream. Shout out, brother TR, RTV, my brother. Shout out to Motivational Shit. On the topic of the parents, the government has taken away a lot of parenting from the parents.
Yeah.
And you know, my brother knows a little bit about that actually. You know, he had to deal with some things in the past where he was trying to be a parent and parent his child, and there was some things that followed behind it that made it tough for him to parent the way we have grown up to taught that, you know, disciplinary measures. The parents have a hard job, but we can't give up. We just need to dig deeper. How do we dig deeper is the thing, though. How do we dig deeper? If we're going to touch on how Hills was discussing or saying that the parents have a hard job if they can't be there all the time, right? And this was mentioned on the panel where it does take a village, but as the teacher was saying, that you bring these kids into the class and you try to assist and be an assistant to parenting, and then the student says, my mama told me I don't gotta listen to you. My mama told me I don't have to do that.
Right.
So it circles back to that exact parent who don't know how to. Because God damn it, I can't do this. I need your help, Wayne.
Yeah.
Right.
I need your help, Hills, because I don't know what to tell this goofy ass child of mine
Right.
now. He want me to smoke weed with him.
Right. This must be a thing that we just don't know about. Like, we're in a conversation with
I'll keep on
like,
circling back. I'm circling back. No, I don't. I'm just saying, you know what I'm
Well,
saying? Yeah. Everybody catch it with me, even mine. These hands are rated E for everybody. Missed everything.
everything. But you know what, too? But that also comes from, what's the word? You know what? We'll bring it back to the nation, right?
Yeah.
There's a level of submission with this letter, my Savior's letter. To really become a registered member, everyone has to write this Savior's letter. I did not know what it was about. I did not realize that I am writing like a replica that must be perfect dang near. And a lot of people are like, oh no, I wouldn't even do that. But I'm like, but no, like this, I can't be a member without doing this, you know? And it's a lot of submission to realize that, wow, my abilities to write this is not perfect. But a lot of us don't have that ability to say, I'm not good at something. You know, my ex-husband, one of the things that I do appreciate about him and my father was that you have to be able to say you effed up. Like, you can't say you effed up.
Yeah.
Like, why are you too good to say that you made a mistake? And I think that goes back to when them parents are saying, oh, you don't have to do what she says. Why can't you admit that you don't know what you're doing right now? Why can't you admit it is hard? Like,
They're not ready to be accountable for what they are in their life, though. That's the first part. Go ahead.
Exactly.
Because it's like when my husband was in LA or ex-husband was in LA and I was here, oh my God, do you understand? It was hard. Like, there was at least 2 days that my kids came to school with dirty clothes. I ain't even gonna front because I didn't have time to do the laundry. And I know that their teacher was like, why do he have on dirty pants? And I said, like, look, man, I'm doing my best. And I used to say that all the time, like, I'm doing my best. Like, when my ex-husband came back, thank God that I had help now. But some of these parents, they don't have that in them to say, I need help. So instead of saying I need help, they're saying, I got this. I can do this on my own. You don't need to listen to her. You understand what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And you experience that in this field. In my field of mentoring kids, being a mental health coach, parapro, you experience that.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had 3 boys. I had a mentor on their anger. One of them had depression because getting bullied in school, blase, blase. And what made it difficult is that at first, you know, the mother was she was kind of combative with me when I, you know, explained to her that, hey, you may not be handling this the best way. Say the best way to communicate with so-and-so. And she wasn't humble enough. And their biological father and her was already going through stuff, being divorced and all that. That was affecting the kids. And it was like I was never able to really fully get into the root, because getting to the root is involving her and talking to her and having her be a part of the session but she kept being combative to the point to where it stunted the growth of her kids to where they're at now. She don't even want to answer my calls no more. The only time I can talk to them is when the kids are with the father.
Wow.
When the kids are with the father, and the father is very active. The father is for us talking about it. He understands how this form of therapy and coaching could help. And I have seen it. So I've seen a lot. It's a lot of the environment. The environment is the biggest control factor, but it's a lot with the parents. And I agree with what they said there, because I've seen it so much. Parents not being as interested, parents not being humbled enough to where they can hear your feedback. You know? So, man, that's the problem.
Okay, so we've been talking about the event, but we haven't showed the viewers the event that we're speaking of. So I'm going to play a little clip, shout out to Young Dro and Mayor Khalid of South Fulton for putting this event together with Streets 94.5, and we were there in attendance. So we're just going to show people a little bit of the footage and kind of like let them get an idea what we're talking about here.
Yes.
I only had one son, and he was murdered.
They asked families who have lost sons, brothers to violent crimes to speak out now about their last memories of them, their ever-present pain. And quickly, 2 lines stretched to the back of the auditorium. This mother whose son was murdered, grateful everyone here is seeking answers.
I've been praying to God that somebody stand up for our community.
They asked young people, why do you want to carry guns?
It just even the playing field. You know what I'm saying? If somebody else got a gun out there, you want to have a gun too if it's a problem, because if you don't, you are already going to lose.
Then a 15-year-old boy said this, said when there's a conflict, the person mad at you probably doesn't care about talking it out peacefully.
Some people, they ain't got nothing to live for, so they just ready to end it all out right there.
This town hall on youth violence, organized by City of South Fulton Mayor Khalid Kamau and Atlanta-born rapper Young Dro. Young Dro challenged the young people here.
If you show me the people you hang around, I can tell you exactly where you're headed.
He challenged parents to be hands-on parents.
This is your home. Are you going to allow lyrics to raise your children?
Here, parents supporting other parents to be better for their children. This was the first of a series of town hall meetings on youth violence in the city of South Fulton to empower the community to save young people.
All right, Hill, so what you think about it, Mel? Let's go. Wayne stepped out.
I'm like trying not to get emotional. The part, so
it's cool.
I'm such a
cool because
crybaby.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When I saw that footage about that young man we were speaking of earlier, Tyreek, I broke down.
Oh, I didn't watch it.
Oh man, my voice cracked. I had to have that camera on Mark L for about 2-3 minutes as I composed myself, because it's our kids.
Yeah.
We can always talk about that child, and I joke all the time about this ain't my kids and FDK Inc. But when we're talking about what's ours, and it's a systematic structure to make sure we're extinct or we're at bottom level, you have the right to feel some type of way.
Yeah.
So
it's just the part with the victim. So part of why, and I'm involved, and we'll talk about that. I'm involved in something called Breaking the Chains of Hip Hop. And it's a intervention, kind of a teen intervention activist group. And we've created a coalition where, we're going to get out there and chaperone and do other events. But the reason why I'm so passionate, because I know how they feel. My nephew was murdered in May of 2013. And Brandon was a very good kid.
Yeah.
He was 21. And he was a good kid.
Right.
He was the oldest of all of the cousins. He had a job at the airport. The boy was so responsible that he had life insurance. So when he was murdered, his parents received money.
Right.
So,
wow.
But the thing was that he was with his neighbor, who we knew was an active gang member. And his father kept telling, because his father had just left the house, his parents were separating, and he kept telling, his ex-wife, like, don't let him hang with him. And so when they pulled up to a party, and we believed that they were trying to shoot the neighbor, and so they end up shooting Brandon. Brandon ran into the hallway, and he passed. And the thing about it is that I understand how those parents were feeling, because all of them were saying, like, nobody would tell the truth. Nobody would say what happened. And you're just like, I know that y'all know. All of y'all is so hard. Y'all so hard. But none of y'all can speak up for my nephew. Like, none of y'all can try to help us. And the thing that was crazy was because, my brother-in-law, he used to be an active Rolling 60s Crip. But he came away from that to be a good father. So it wasn't like Brandon didn't have good parents. This is that kind of case like Ricky. You know what I'm saying? That same kind of case that we see, like that case of Ricky and Boys in the Hood. That's real.
Right.
That's real.
Definitely. Yes.
That's not no movie. It's a
It
lot
is.
of Rickies out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so part of this movement is personal. And because I know for me personally, there's a lot of kids that we're not going to be able to help. But I know that there's good kids like Brandon that are in the midst of that. Yeah. And I feel like the thing that I wanted to do the most is pull those kids and give them something. Even if they parents in their household don't have nothing to give them, spiritually, motivation-wise, no resources. That's why it's important. That's why it takes a village. That's why it's important for us to do that, because that part was the part that got me. Like, I could not stop crying when we just kept hearing story after story after story.
Yeah.
It was like, man.
Where's the break in it? And this shows you how prevalent that it is, and it's almost getting ignored. Shout out to Phoenix. Very emotional. This definitely. Let's talk about the Breaking the Chains launch weekend.
Yes.
While we're here in this moment. And you kind of like touched on it, but here we go. February 16th through the 20th.
Yes. So Breaking the Chains of Hip Hop is a movement created by Shar Bates. Shar Bates is just a known activist. She is that person that when anything happens, police brutality, we're running to Shar. She's going to get it out there in the media. She's just very, very active. She was one of the people that, called upon the Black Panthers when Ahmaud Arbery was murdered. Like, she is a soldier for the people. And so she started Breaking the Chains some years ago. And she first started with summer programs for the kids. This past summer, she did a program at Morehouse. And then also this year, she's been doing like talent shows. The winners of the talent shows get an interview on Greg Street, V103. So when these murders kept happening, she was just like, we have to do something. Like, we have to do something. And so we started having meetings, and we decided we want to do chaperoning. So going to the skating rinks, going to the malls, going to wherever these kids are and just being a presence. But, for us to really be a presence, we decided to get ourselves active in the community. So February 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, that is going to be the kickoff. So we'll start off at Maynard Jackson High School, February 16th, with a teen summit and a pep rally. So we, go there, pretty much do a little bit of what was done at the event we were at, where, it's a teen summit. We can hear their voices. Also give them a good pep rally. Right. On Friday, we're thinking of another event. We're still kind of creating that. We were thinking maybe a skate party or something to give the kids an activity to do. Saturday the 18th is going to be a festival. We're going to have performers, have different activation stations where they could do a TikTok station. I'm going to have one of my schools come up there that do nails, that do skin. So if there's some girls that like to do nails and skin, you can get you a free manicure. Also get some information on how to get involved in that, and have some performers on Saturday. We'll probably get you to perform, open it up with some motivational stuff, then
I got to get my guys Slim and B on that. Some performance. They got some good music.
Yeah,
man.
we need some performers.
I got you.
Yeah, we would really love.
You ain't even asked me to be a part of it.
Look, but it takes a village, honey. But we would love some teen performers too. It's easy for us to get out, but we would love some teens. What we really, really want are some teens that can be positive role models too.
Yeah. Already got it.
Because we could do all this, but if we don't have them. The 19th, we're going to have another event, more of like a healing event. And then I believe we're supposed to do a community cleanup. So this is all really just to kick off and get that awareness and that presence for these kids. And then March, we're going to just go at it and do like a tour of these schools, do Teen Summit tours and, hit up different high schools and just try to do it every week, just so that the kids, so when we out there at the skating rink, they'll be like, oh, they're going breaking the chains. And they know we're here. You know what I'm saying? So we got your back, or if you a knucklehead, know like, damn, it's like the parents there just to have some watchful eyes. Yeah.
They just had a incident near Cascade skating ring a couple of weeks ago. So I think this will be, just in the nick of time. With over there with a shooting that happened to a young man. So
I just, it's so hard because these are kids, and you're like, what happened? What happened? Yeah. Like, I want to understand what happened. And with the ones that you can't reach, I've experienced people that are institutionalized, and I see their mindset, and it's sad and it's heartbreaking when you see kids who are on the street who have an institutionalized mindset. Like you just don't want no good or what? You don't respect life. You don't have no regard for life. Like, why don't you? Because you don't have regard for your life. Okay, so then what do we need to do for you to love yourself enough to love your brother? Like that. Like with the nation, that's why you are my brother, sister, something, brother, something. You get, even the Honorable Minister Farrakhan is brother minister. He's still brother. Because you cannot kill your family. And if you can kill your family, then why don't you have any aspect of family like that? Why don't you love yourself and you love us that way? And, that's something about what I really hope when we're talking about breaking the chains of hip hop is because hip hop has become that, where it has become a figure that has ripped us down. It's taken away our love for ourselves. You talk about the sexualization of hip hop. Our girls just want to have their booty out. Our girls just want their titties out. Our girls just want to be an object of sex. Our boys just want to be on drugs. Future don't even do Percocet. He don't even do Molly.
There you go. So is he an industry plant? Because we got to talk about the business side of hip hop, or the business side of the music business, about how the people who aren't of our community, of our culture, of our color, of our race, and whatever you want to put it, who are actually creating what we perceive to be real. So once again, going back to the household, saying, child, this is not it. TikTok, parents, mothers twerking with their daughters and saying it's just fun. Let me stop.
Yeah. But
so
I
I do want to go back to my brother Terone's comment though, where he's just said, we still have to have the conversation. It's not going to go away in a day. It's just sad to see our community louder about things that shouldn't represent our community.
Say that one more time.
It's just so sad to see our community louder about things that should not represent our community.
Yes, and that's where money come into play. You know what I'm saying? Here, you can go ahead and speak. I don't know if I just overspoke you or not.
No. Yeah, we just took over Wayne show.
Well, he's a facilitator. I told y'all the coffee was gonna kick in. The coffee was gonna kick in. I told you. I said.
I'm just listening.
You know what?
And just listening both of y'all viewpoints.
The coffee was kicking in, but you know what? It reminds me of an interview of Tupac I had watched. I think I posted this before, where they asked, was he being pimped? And that was the moment where you realized Tupac was in his early 20s because of his response. He was clever though, and he said, who's being pimped? At the end of the day, these white kids is going home and they doing this, they emulated me, so who's pimping who? And he felt like, well, the white kids are still emulating me, but we're like, but guess what? When they decide to be white again, they can go ahead and put them jeans in the closet, and they can go and get their Abercrombie and Finch, and then they could go ahead and dude, and now they are white again, and they don't have to live with that. And I think that part of when these rappers, they say, well, I don't make music for kids, but the kids are listening to it. And so you have to decide what are you willing to sacrifice. And I'm not asking people to sacrifice their livelihood, because no one's asking me to sacrifice mine, even though my livelihood is aligned with something that is positive for my people. So when you talk about, is Future a plant, do you feel like he is a plant? I mean, he knows he is. He knows what he does. You know, he's not ignorant to the fact. Like, for someone to say, he was like, I don't even do Molly or Percocet, but your number one song right now is
Molly
Percocet. Molly Percocet. I'm like, so you are, and it's not just a song. You are that right there was a spell. You are embedding Molly Percocet.
And then right before that, I remember towards the end of 106 in Park, the number one song on that was "Young Nigga Move That Dope." That was the number one song, and I did not even watch one. I just so happened to turn to 106 in Park is on, and the number one song, Future, "Young Nigga Move That Dope."
Yeah,
I was taken aback.
Yeah, it was the mantra.
Yeah, like really, this is what we got. Not only a video to this on a national televised show, but it's the number one song.
Let's not even miss that 106 in Park is for the teens.
There you go. That part too.
Yeah,
that was for kids. It wasn't for grown people. So, you know, when we talk about this, that's why breaking the chains of hip hop, that's why I was so like active and wanted to be active with it, because we have to break the chains that hip hop is putting on our kids.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, we do. And I want to, okay. You know, everything y'all saying is definitely key, and this is all plays a part. And I want to say too, with a lot of the issues that we face in the black community, you know, I reached a state of my growth to where I'm not worried about what the white man is doing no more. I know, you know, the system of white supremacy has impacted our community and has laid, you know, the foundation and all that, but I truly, in my heart, feel like the black community would be a lot better if we go within and fix our own problems that we have, you know, and taking more accountability. And just like y'all said, you know, with the music, the 106 apart, you know, and parents playing a bigger role. I had to tell my daughter recently, she heard about this band or whatever, group or whatever, called the Bonnet Boys. And it was, I think, it was like three girls on TikTok, three girls on YouTube dancing, and it was two boys, and the two boys always had a bonnet. And I had to explain to her that, hey, you know, men don't wear a bonnet. It's okay for a man to wear a hat, but men don't wear bonnets. And now certain men that live a certain lifestyle, and I told her that, but I was like, the type of man I am and the type of man your pop is, we don't wear bonnets. And, you know, I let her know, you know, strong men don't wear bonnets. So, you know, I had to lay that foundation there. You know what I'm saying?
They make it hard to even talk about. You got to even say it a certain way.
But I'm saying I had to lay that foundation. So I had to put that, you know, I had to be, you know, the hand of the parent coming in, and I had to guide her through certain stuff, because now these kids are getting exposed to a lot of things, even as far as sexuality, which, you know, that shouldn't even be there. You know what I'm saying? You know, like
the Bonnet Boys.
Yeah.
What would have made them decide to be the Bonnet Boys?
Because that's what's cool today, and that's what's made cool today. And if you say something about it, you're wrong, and you're a bad parent for telling your son that he can't wear a bonnet. They're letting kids cut off body parts, Dwayne Wade, and actually saying that they have the right to do that, although this same child cannot go to war. This same child supposedly cannot is not old enough to make a decision to buy a drink or even smoke. So you're telling me that they can make mature sexual based decisions before the age of 18, before they could even go to war? This is what y'all telling me. This is what y'all telling me, and this is what y'all this is what y'all want me to accept as logical.
Right.
You can make a sexual decision about your life, but you are not wise enough yet to pick up a gun and go to war.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you. Or vote.
Or vote.
decide who the
Or
president
vote.
is.
Hey,
You
let's
can't-
let the 9-year-olds vote if we're here.
Yes.
That right there
Oh.
was the most, like, for me, D Wade, man, like,
And I'm a D Wade fan. So just like you felt about Erykah Badu, that's how I felt about D Wade. Like,
yes. It looked like child abuse to me. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
Because also, if your child decided to do this, why is he just put on Front Street about it? Like, why is he having
Yeah.
photo shoots?
Yeah.
Why are you making this such a public thing? If it's for him, let it be for him.
Yes.
If it's truly, or her, whatever
Him?
whatever you want to
Oh,
call it.
yeah, I'm gonna let y'all make that
And no,
decision.
it is a him. It is a him.
Okay.
And you know, I
Yeah.
had a moment at my school. There's a boy who decided he wanted to be a girl, and he's in the school. And so they kept saying she, and I kept saying he. And I said, because it's still a he. Just because a man decided to put on a woman's suit and decided to make himself look like a woman doesn't mean that that's a woman. That's still a man. It's just a man that looks like a woman. Like, we have to have these distinctions. And I'm sorry if anybody thinks that this is disrespectful. No, it's not. It's just, it's fact. It's science. You can't deny science. You are a man who decided to make yourself a woman. Until you can actually create a child, actually be pregnant, push a child out, and breastfeed that child, until you have a menses every month, you are a man who has made yourself a woman. And I'm not going to stand back from that. That is science. We are not being disrespectful by speaking science. Like, I think that this culture, that's the messed up part about the culture, is that
We bought
exactly
everything.
what you said. We are dispelling science, and we're dispelling God, and we're putting whatever man decided is correct over that. That doesn't make any sense.
Wayne.
Decided. Emerson. Yo, hey.
Emerson.
Shout out to Emerson,
Hey,
man.
I know Emerson.
Yeah. We have to play our part. Society standards leading people towards certain things for a reason. And yo, me and Emerson, we had conversations with that. Like what you just said, this whole thing, you know, I mean, to me, is leading to the left-hand path, you know, and that's getting on some spiritual stuff, is leading to the path of the Baphomet. You know, and serving that energy. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, that energy likes to put everything in reverse.
When you say the left-hand path, what do you mean by that?
Okay. Okay. More, that's where we're getting more into the Satan and the occultists using the knowledge for darker things, more of the darker conspiracy theories. And the reason why, for my studies, right, you know, this is just different videos, different things I looked up, you know, it's called the left hand. I'm not sure of the reason why it's called the left hand, but, you know, even Nori, it was a clip of Nori when Nori was saying, you know, when you want to get in the game, you know, you either use your own talents, you know, you go the right way, use your own talents, your own skills, or you get some assistance and help, and, you know, you got to go the left path, and, you know, just kind of hinted with that. You know what I'm saying? So I
Deep.
mean, I did some research on that stuff, and, you know, that's getting into some darker stuff.
You know, and the thing about that is, like, you can't never address that honestly, because somebody will always dispel that, and that's the problem. We have so many things put for us to learn and study, and since they don't have absolute fact from whoever you want to buy it from, saying that this is true, they will dispel what you studied and you learned as some form of facts, when, you know, this is a study guide that's been proven. Is everything real? Maybe that, going back to my boy Mark L, he always say there's an overlay for the underplay. So what they show you, behind that, there's something really going on that you don't know. So you know,
The sleight of hand.
Phoenix said, you can't beat biology. That man still has XYZ chromosomes.
Just saying.
So but you know, great show. Where we at?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I want us to go on a quick break, y'all. You know, Make sure y'all stay tuned.
Motivational overtime, baby.
You know,
Hey.
make sure y'all stay tuned. This is Motivational Shit podcast. Make sure y'all subscribe to the mail review, Dial in Yale, and also make sure you subscribe to the Oreo Connect on Black Ink. Let's get it. High heels. Hey, subscribe to her vibe. Right, she got some great things going on over in that platform, and y'all stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Hey, it's your girl Kay Chantel, your favorite one from Women in the Mic. I have a question. Do you own your own business and need advertising? Do you provide a service and want to increase your clientele? Well, bring your advertising needs to Yale Radiocast.com. We are on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and iHeartRadio. We offer graphic design, web design, and video services. So, not only can you grow your business with Yale Radiocast, you can also listen to the hottest independent artists. Go to YaleRadiocast.com and get the gold standard.
Hey, we back at it with Motivational Shit podcast, man. We got Dial-In Yale, mail review, and we have High Heels of the Oracle Connect. Make sure you subscribe to her vibe, right? And High Heels, what you got going on? Like, what's some more stuff you have planned that's coming up for the people to stay tapped into your vibe?
Okay, well, with Oracle Connect, I've got some stuff going on behind the scenes right now. We're doing some planning and some shifting. But until then, I have a course that I'm working on that I'm going to launch next month. But it is just an energetic awareness course. So we're going to be going over the chakras. It's a 9-week course that you can get involved in. Either you want to do the whole package of the 9 weeks, or you could do it week by week, where we go from each chakra and then the energetic subtle bodies that are associated with those chakras. Ooh. So a lot of people don't realize that there are other fields of energy that are tapped in with each chakra. Like for your solar plexus, that is connected to your mental body. Your mental body is your thoughts. Your thoughts is how you create and manifest. And so I feel like I created this course because there's just so many energetic shifts that have happened. And a lot of people talk about anxiety. A lot of people are curious about the chakras. So I just thought this is a really great way to embody all that, where you're learning about the chakras, you're learning about your energetic body fields that are associated with that. But also you're going to learn ways to calm your own energy. Like each week comes with a guided meditation. So if you're feeling anxious, typically if you're anxious, that's going to connect to your root chakra. So we're going to talk about the root chakra. What are some root chakra exercises? You know, maybe put on the guided meditation. So while you're walking around through your day and you're noticing these imbalances within yourself, you're able to calibrate for yourself instead of always having to go to your Reiki practitioner or reach out to other people. So that's what I've been working on, and I've got that coming soon. So inshallah, it will be coming out in March, if not April. And then also just working with Breaking with the Chains, you know, and really getting activated with these kids, because I think it's very powerful and it's important that we do philanthropic work.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. That's true. That's true. Yo, shouts out to Travis, man. We're gonna be doing his event, doing some pro bono events on his, helping with the kids, you know, deal with anger and anxiety. So that's definitely what I got going on. And we also got Dial-In Yale. Yep. Right, and we got an event for the league. Yeah, correct?
The league, which the LEG, which stands for League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Let me go ahead and share my flyer.
Dial-On.
There you go. I'm turning the mic off, I promise. So the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, with the LEG for short, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, we're having a conference which is February 25th. It is a conference of brothers, because what, you know, I love doing is, or I have a desire to show the other side, because what we have been talking about all day is the perception of who we are as a people, and what the media and the other construct has created for people to think who we are. So this is a conference to show that there are brothers within our community that are doing great work, black men, and this will be held 4329 Marietta Street, which is shout out to Miss Helen, who has allowed us to take on a location to hold this event from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you have any form of business, go to the website YaleRadiocast.com, register your business, and you could come set out. We will have concessions, we will have food, we have drinks, we will be, highlighting businesses of brothers, of black men. Women, you are welcomed as well. It's just me as a man, I'm a male activist. So, I want to show who we truly are. I don't care what TV says that we are. I know who we are because I know who I see and I know who I have around me. A motto of mine is congregate with like-minded people. And that's what I have seen within the past year or two of mine. Great men doing great things. Yes, we make mistakes. There's no denying that. Yes, we have some work to do. There is no denying that as well. But guess what? We are putting in the work. And there's no denying that.
Yes, black man.
Like
yes.
I'm all right. I'm trying to be a better me out here.
You doing it.
Thank you.
Go on.
Y'all hear that?
Go ahead,
High Heels said that. Hill said that. High heels. Look at God.
Okay. The second self,
But I appreciate you. I want to say this. I appreciate you, Wayne, for being who you are, and what you have brought along with to this platform of Yale Entertainment and Yale Radiocast and RTV. You've brought along a personality of positivity that we need to see anyways. So I appreciate the ability and the offering of highlighting you, and you bringing people like High Heels, the Oracle as well. I have enjoyed this podcast extremely with everybody that's sat in that chair right there. I want to let you know that.
Go ahead, that's my friend. I had to catch air on.
Thank you.
That's my dog.
That's my dog.
Hey, but he's that person. Like I'm telling, when I first conversed with him, because he would open up Artemis Prime with his motivation, and when I first conversed with him, I'm like, I like him. Okay, hold on, like this my dog. That's why I was so happy to see you on Thursday, because he's been talking about like I want to get more active and get in there, and I think that people don't realize like it's not hard. Like, just go. Just go, and then keep going, and then keep going. We were talking about that before we started, about, it's
once
easy
you're
to
in the
get
room,
but you got to keep yourself in the room. Not everybody can keep themselves in the room, because I feel like it's because not everybody keeps going and answering and slam dunking the alley-oop. It is.
Shout out to Travis Barber over there, man.
Okay, trapping. That's a cool dude right there. He walking there. That's a cool.
He walk up in there,
He just walk up.
What's going on, man, brother? Whoa.
Cool. Trap is
Shouts
cool.
out to Trap, man.
Yeah,
That
thank
was
you.
good.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much for having me.
High Heels, you are always welcome. And I want to say to the guests, make sure y'all check out Oracle Connect on Black Ink, man. She has some serious guests. She have RZA Islam, Blue Pill, Red Pill.
I'm
King
jealous.
King Simon, the numero vector.
She got the ones.
And like she has brought guests that has
heavy
really
hitters out there.
Queen of Four.
In consciousness.
I forgot. Yep, Queen of Four. What I really want to gear to is I love going out into just boots on the ground and doing interviews, and I really want to push to do a lot more of that coming up. I love the in studio as well, but it's something about just going out there and then finding the energy of the crowd, because it's like now you kind of seeing what we're experiencing,
right?
And we're bringing that to other people, and then they start seeing like, dang, I think I want to start doing that and going there. So that's something I really want to start doing more of. You'll see more of that once I've got other business stuff I'm putting into place that's taking a lot of time, but I really want to start doing that a lot more, like way more than what I've been doing. Yeah.
I can definitely see that. Yeah, like what you did when you went to fight the mandate.
The rally for reparations.
Yeah, the rally for the reparations.
Even I did revolutionary healing. I went out there. That was in South Fulton. I interviewed Trap. I interviewed Mayor Khalid when I was there. I interviewed, what's her name? I can't stand when I forget people's names, but a lot of people were there too. So that's what I like to do. I'm gearing. We're gonna manifest this. I really want to do some interviews at the Forbidden Conscious Awards that's coming up in July.
Okay.
Billy Carson is doing the first annual Forbidden Conscious Awards in Miami. And we not playing. He not playing. It's where the Grammys were before, I think, or something like that. It's a real good venue. They're gonna have a red carpet. Y'all already know that High Heels want to be on boots on the ground doing some interviews on the red carpet, because these are all of the people that have been putting work into the consciousness game, into consciousness education for decades, and they have not gotten awards like this. So, this is groundbreaking and it's huge. And y'all already know I like to ask everybody questions. So we speaking that.
Oh, yeah.
We speaking that. High heels on the red carpet for you. I'm here for you, Billy. I'm here for y'all. I got y'all.
Shout out to Billy Carson. Hey, man.
Shouts out to that, man.
I be overzealous, y'all. I know I do.
But I'm appreciative of y'all. Both of y'all have played a big step in my growth. High Heels, just, our friendship and me knowing you is the seeds you have faith, just good energy, and also just the knowledge I've learned from your content and how I've used that, for some of my family members, just to waking them up. I'm really appreciative and grateful for that. And Dylan, just you connected me to resources like, a couple of months ago, and I do look up to this brother, 19 Keys. He dropped a quote. He said, it's no more OGs no more. Yeah, it's no more OGs no more. It's just old guys or something like that. Old guys that just look and don't. But in my definition, you're an OG because you actually connected me to resources. Since I met you, you actually connected me. You talked to me. You mentored me in certain subjects, and you pulled and connected me. You know what I'm saying? And that's motivation in itself.
The tears. But because you're not afraid of somebody taking your place. That's why there's no OGs, because they be scared somebody to take their place.
Right. I often say this. Somebody showed me the way. Shout out to Africa Allah. I will always give praise to her, who taught me pretty much for the media side of things. She's the reason that there is a Yale Entertainment Yale Radiocast. Nice. And I felt like, okay, so how can that's selfish for me to keep this knowledge that somebody gave me that somebody else needs, because you're going to take it and probably run further than I can run, So how selfish is that for me to only be able to go so far when somebody could go further and actually take the baton and possibly run faster? That's some selfish shit, So I feel like, that's just what we are all here for. And the only way we can circle things back into this community is actually putting back into this community. We're always asking for other people to take care of us instead of us taking care of ourselves.
Exactly.
How much of that, and that's why we falling short with this whole community awareness thing and family structure and schools and knowledge and all this stuff, because nobody wants to go the next step of help. We're so competitive, and competition is cool, but not when it's at the detriment of benefiting somebody else along with yourself. But I want to point out this moment that I saw right here. Let me tell you, man, this moment that I saw right here at this event, I'm gonna tell you, as I was watching it, how happy I was just to see this interaction between you and Travis right here, and I met you at Connecting the Links, and I met him at Connecting the Links, and this is a moment of a link connecting. You know,
Exactly.
that moment right there.
Oh.
That is, man.
You know.
Look at you being the cameraman on the getting the
You
behind
know,
the scenes.
you know,
Yeah, you
Mr.
so much.
Mr. Everything, baby, it's real.
Yes.
You know.
Definitely, yeah.
I was standing over there somewhere. I remember this when this happened.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I like when stuff like that happens.
Yeah. So you know, we here for a purpose.
And we gonna remember this. Watch, we gonna remember this.
Yeah.
You gonna look back and be like, oh, "That's where it started." It
Yeah.
all started.
So that's an alley oop. I need a slam dunk.
Okay, hey,
I need a slam dunk. Okay, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, all right.
Vince Carter, baby.
right.
Yeah,
Let's go.
so in my mind, I was trying to put a couple, and I was like, I don't know sports.
Let me think of a name.
Like, who does that? Who?
Vince Carter, baby.
Pippen, Scottie Pippen,
Scottie
Jordan?
Pippen, yeah, Scottie Pippen, yeah, Scottie Pippen, you there,
Okay.
yeah.
Shout out, Dad. Thank you
got it.
for making me watch all those games, man. Something did happen.
Oh man, definitely. So so just to wrap up the show, man, I hope all the viewers, I hope you gained something from this episode. We really talked about the community. We talked about all in all, but everything we talked about, it falls upon you to go the extra, make the change. Don't be afraid to take accountability, self-reflect, see what difference you can make. Pour into yourself instead of always asking for outside. Don't let everything from the outside come in your world. It's okay for you not to like this movement or this culture as long as you don't affect them physically, spiritually, financially, mentally. You saying that, oh, I don't like this and that, it may affect them emotionally, but that's their problem. That's their problem. You know? So, all in all, continue to have a motivational, high vibrational day of peace, love, and positivity. And remember, subscribe to The Vibe, Oracle Connect. Make sure you check out Black Ink Radio this Monday. She's going to have a fire episode as always. And make sure you tie into the mail review. Right, you just got it. We just had a new episode with Markel this past Saturday.
Yes.
Make sure you tap into that grown man conversation. Dialing Yale, RTV, Yale Entertainment. Hey, and enjoy your day. Let's get it!
Yale Radiocast.com